What if Earth is like one of those uncontacted tribes in South America, like the whole galaxy knows we're here but they've agreed not to contact us until we figure it out for ourselves? And crop circles are just teenager aliens doing graffiti. That's the premise of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, except for the waiting for us to figure it out part. I mean, we could always just be cosmic ants. How often do you go out to your garden and try to communicate with the bugs? Prime directive? What if aliens showed up here millions of years ago, saw a planet inhabited by enormous lizard monsters and said fuck that, don't come back to this place? They probably treat us like animals on National Geographic. What if the people that were abducted by aliens were actually abducted by some alien TV host equivalent of the Crocodile Hunter, where he abducts a human and shows it off? Crikey, what a interesting little fella this is. That's actually one of many theories about SETI and alien life. That they're so far ahead of us on the Kardashev scale that for them to try to communicate with us would be like us trying to communicate with ants. Or amoebas. Those aliens probably watch us on TV while laughing at us. How can someone or something be that stupid? I believe South Park tackled this thought in the episode Cancelled. This is a very common and well-known theory. It's also called the Prime Directive in the Star Trek universe. Maybe there's an intergalactic agreement not to contact any life forms until they develop interstellar travel. What if we're actually a part of a very huge being, and to that huge being, it's like when we look at our own cells through a microscope. And that's just one being. There could be millions of huge beings. We are probably more like the Sentinelese from the North Sentinel Island, part of the Andaman Island archipelago in Indian Ocean. They are widely considered as one of the most aggressive uncontacted tribe, very much hostile towards outsiders, though some would disagree. The Indian government declared the remote island officially off limits. What if those aliens are looking at this post and giggling like they'll never know how right they are? We irradiated our own planet on purpose. We're fucking nuts, man. Everyone assumes that there are these superior entities that can conduct out-of-this-world actions. But if you see the evolution of life on this Earth, over 3 billion years of trial and error until a species with the capacity to be self-aware about the universe starts to rise to dominance in the last 200,000 years. Only 10,000 since we've been having the amount of exponential progress we see today. For all we know, life out there could just be reptile-like creatures with no need to be highly intelligent to survive. Perhaps we're the beginning of the alien species. If we ever colonize the universe, humans will evolve differently from one another in a series of rapid, radiative ways. Perhaps we're the ancestors of all intelligent life in our local galaxy. More like they're made out of meat, remade out of meat. If that's true, we probably killed some of them at one point. Most uncontacted tribes have also killed some of the past people who tried to contact them. That's already a theory. Edit because I'm getting messages and comments about this. I wasn't trying to belittle the guy or say this in a manner that implies I didn't want him to post this here. I just thought that maybe he didn't know this concept already existed, as I've done this with other ideas and would like to know. It depends. If there was an advanced society or many and they had a hands-off policy with Earth, likely the only way they'd actually be able to enforce it would be if their governing bodies had total control over their spaceflight operations. Which is conceivable, to a point, but as soon as you introduce the possibility of private ownership of spacecraft manned or otherwise in operations, it truly only takes that one dude looking for space Reddit karma to fuck it all up. I like to think there's the alien equivalent of David Attenborough who does the same thing to us as we do to other animals. Well, you have it at least half figured out. Truth is, we have been receiving all of those old video transmission, I am told they are called movies, wherein your people tend to dissect and kill all aliens that land on your planet. When they start seeing you greet visitors with respect, maybe something interesting will happen. What if we are first? What if we're more like an anthill in the middle of the Amazon? Or even worse, like a bacterium on Earth. There are 5 by 1030 bacteria. Most of those tribes remain uncontacted, mostly because of concerns regarding introducing new diseases to them and because of the lack of the means for proper communication. I doubt these kind of issues would exist when it would come to aliens. The Culture series covers this. Then we probably will be contacted first by the extremist aliens who will give us the hard sell that their belief system is the best and that all we believe is a lie. And we will do something violent in response. Etc. etc. Eventually we all end up enslaved or die of an illness our immune systems cannot handle. I feel like they would though, as we have tried so many attempts to reach out to them. You really think the entire galaxy could all unanimously agree to something? To anything? Doubtful. Space is practically infinite, light is a hard limit, and even if you find ways to get out there at a comfortable speed, spacefaring cultures will spark, bloom, ebb, and die in the time you travel an infinitesimally small fraction of the distance from us or our sci-fi light speed limit, avoiding exit to them, and they'll never cross paths. Individual ants placed at random points in the Sahara. What are the odds they will meet before they die? This might possibly be the most preferable version of the Fermi paradox. Read the Three-Body Problem trilogy, then be glad they haven't contacted us yet. TLDR, anyone out there capable of understanding that we're here ought to be smart enough to know that we're also potentially dangerous to them, so they're better off killing us rather than contacting us. And, vice versa, except no, we're humans, so let's just tell everyone, hey guys, here we are. There is the former leader of Israel's space program who said that. He also said that the US and Israel have a base with aliens on Mars, and they said we are not allowed to know yet. I think we're more like the folk out on the Sentinel Islands. They know we're here, but every time someone tries to talk to us we take potshots at them. So the whole planet is officially off limits. One of the greatest flukes in evolution is when one cell ate another cell but didn't digest it. This allowed the one inside to focus entirely on creating energy, allowing the main cell to focus on other things. This gave life the ability to form multicellular organisms, inevitably creating complex fauna. So it's also a belief that even if there are countless planets teeming with life right here in our own galaxy, none of them have advanced to complex organisms. Unlikely, since the galactic US equivalent hasn't tried to invade us and give us democracy yet. Well, yeah, this was already discovered, don't you remember? We were banned from the Federation of Planets because we tried to kill Baby Farts McGeezak and hid all of the stolen space cash from the space cops, so now we're barred from any future alien contact.